WOVU LP Cleveland.
Hi, fam. Keep it tuned to Damage Control on 95.9 WOVU Cleveland.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, man, how you doing? You good? I know you like that. I know you like that. How long you been back, man?
Yeah, I thought I would hit you guys with a little bit of Mace this afternoon. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to another episode of Damage Control with your favorite marriage and family therapist and host, Aqueelah Wheatley. So good to be back with you guys. And just remember, Monday is a fresh start. So start it with determination and focus. Or in other words,
be great in their face and have a good day on purpose. You're welcome.
Althea Crimmins for you. You know I love her. If she can't motivate you, okay, nobody can, all right? Because she is one of the most amazing motivational speakers. So shout out to Althea from Damage Control. You know we love you, girl. With that being said, it is time for us to roll into our first segment, which is Relationship RX. And for those of you new listeners that might not know what Relationship RX is,
You gonna learn today?
you sure are going to learn today. It is a segment where we take relationship questions, conflicts, concerns, and we read them. These are things that have been DM'd to me or they have been submitted via the website, supportiveadvice.com/damage control. And I look them over and I vet them and then I read them, right? So if you're interested in being a part of this segment, definitely feel free to hit me up on Facebook at Supportive Advice Ohio. You can hit me on Instagram at Aqueelah Wheatley LMFT. You can also get at me again via the website, which, as I said before, is supportiveadvice.com/damage control. So with that being said, we are going to go into our first question. So this first question is both interesting but also not uncommon. This woman says, my husband has never held down a steady job. I, on the other hand, have had long-term steady jobs and Social Security at one point because I have a chronic illness. She doesn't talk about what the illness is, but she does say, I have had over 10 surgeries, and during that time, I still held down a job to make money for myself and my family. My husband makes excuses when he has to go to work, and while he's getting ready, he slams things around and complains about everything and everyone at work before ultimately quitting. I'm just at a loss, and I feel like it's a repeating cycle that will never end. What can I do? So a lot of my ladies and gentlemen might both be saying, why haven't you left yet? Or, well, just leave, because ultimately that is the answer for everything. Just leave. However, it's not. So I want to examine this situation. She says never held down a steady job, right? She also prefaces that with my husband. However, it's hard for me to imagine that this pattern started after they were married. It may have been that he never held down a steady job the whole time he knew her. And then after they were married, she assumed that he would change. There was an expectation, I'm not sure if it was spoken or unspoken, but there was an expectation that he would change at some point. So she talks about having long-term success with holding down a job. She also talks about having a chronic illness and having had 10 surgeries. And that's significant here. And the reason why it's significant is because her husband did not step up during those times. Now, some people might say, well, Dag, he must be selfish, right? He could be. Some people would say, oh, he must be a narcissist. He could be. However, he also could be someone that didn't step up because he wasn't trusted to. And what that means is sometimes we get so used to doing something, right? We get so used to a routine that the control that we have by doing things begins to serve us. It reduces anxiety if I don't have to count on him to do something that I don't believe he can do anyway. If I'm the one that's holding out a job, yes, I'm stressed. Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I might even be resentful. However, I'm also lowering my anxiety by taking control. In order for him to have stepped up during this time, she would have had to quit working. So a boundary would have had to be set. Hey, I'm going in to have some surgeries. I have the Social Security coming in. It's not going to be enough to maintain the entire home and family. So you're going to have to get a job, and I'm going to be quitting my job as of this date. And so two things could have happened at that point. The first thing is he decided that he was going to call her bluff, and he didn't actually end up getting a job. And so financially, the family suffers, right? But she's also on Social Security. So the family suffers. However, they're not destitute. Another thing that could have happened is that he felt the pressure of needing to be that provider and actually stepped up to that role. Now, does that mean that he would have been nice about it? Maybe not. Does it mean that his temperament would have been absolutely amazing while he was doing it? Probably not, right? If he's already slamming things and getting upset and complaining about everything, and he has a very negative point of view as it relates to work, that's probably going to be consistent, especially if he hasn't done it for long periods of time. However, people do eventually get into a routine. And it sounds like he hasn't been at a job long enough to actually form a routine, form bonds with people, form friendships with individuals, and actually have a stake in his employment and the people around him, right? It sounds like he goes there begrudging, not interested in making friends, not interested in having any type of interactions, and then he complains about everyone. That is a confirmation bias. This is going to be horrible, so I'm only going to pay attention to things that I believe are horrible that confirm my bias, and I'm going to discard everything that is not horrible, or I'm going to minimize everything that is not horrible because it doesn't align with the bias I already have. There's also some resentment that I hear, and not just from you, but from him. For some reason, I'm not sure, it seems like he doesn't think that it is within his role, or at least justified within his role, to have to be the one to work. Now, this could be because of patterns that he saw growing up. Maybe he had a single mother who he saw hold down a house, cook, clean, etc. And so he had that expectation of a wife as well, without realizing that in that he's also wanting her to be a single mother while married. And yes, that is a thing. And then there's another scenario where maybe he started work young and he was resentful towards his parent or parents for having to start work young and to take care of the household. And so sometimes what can happen is that resentment will linger, but it'll be projected onto our partner. And also, it has a lot to do with our marital attitudes. So maybe we're looking for someone that's not going to cause us to have to do the things that we didn't want to do. So there's definitely some resentment there. Now, I understand that he is a male. And so the overall thought from a social perspective is, well, he's the dude, so he's supposed to work. The man is the provider. I mean, that went out a long time ago. There are plenty of women who provide for their homes. There's a lot of co-providers, and there are some males that stay home. And that's okay. All of those things are okay as long as both partners agree. It seems like even though he feels the pressure, it doesn't seem like he's assented to the role of being the provider. There's something in him that is not telling him you're supposed to work, or is something in him that's telling him that he's rebelling against. Either way, he doesn't want to do it. And so you're saying that this feels like an ongoing repeating cycle that will never end. Yes, it is a repeating cycle. Now, I don't know exactly where the cycle started. I can speculate again. I said it could have happened before you all were married with the thought that things would change afterwards, or it could have started when you guys were married and just took you by surprise that as soon as you guys said I do, he stopped. So I'm not sure exactly which one of those things are happening in this case. However, here is a way to stop repeating a cycle. You get off the merry-go-round. You get off. And this isn't saying you have to end your marriage. This isn't saying you have to leave him. This is saying that you set a boundary. And in setting a boundary, you also set a known and concrete expectation. Now, some people think that a boundary is there to control the other person. People think, oh, well, ultimatums are there to push them to do what I want them to do versus what they want to do because something's at stake. However, a boundary is really just asserting control over yourself and your willingness to take or not take something, do or not do something. You can say to your husband, hey, we've been married since 2009. That's a good 15 years. You haven't held down a steady job. I've had 10 surgeries. If this marriage is going to continue, there's going to need to be significant reprioritization. Now, you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. However,
neither do I. And if the family's well-being doesn't move up on your priority list, which would look like possibly you starting a business or maintaining employment or going back to school or whatever is going to help you become the provider that I need you to be,
I am going to take steps to, and then fill in the blank. And some people might say, well, that's duress. No, because essentially he doesn't have to do anything. He can continue doing exactly what he's been doing. You're not telling him that if he doesn't do something, you're going to do something to him. No. You are telling him that if something doesn't change within this cycle, you're going to do something to get off the merry-go-round. That's what you're telling him. Also, couples counseling, getting down to the root of why he's not working and why you have been okay for so long with taking on this role. Now, again, as I said before, it could be a way of lowering your anxiety by asserting control. If I haven't seen someone do something, then I don't feel comfortable trusting them to do it. And I'm saying it very plainly because it makes sense. If I've never seen a plane float, I might not trust the plane to float because essentially, if I've not seen it and I've not witnessed it and it's not been normalized to me, I am not going to risk it. So this could look like either her mom being the sole provider in her household, or it can look like her mother being a single parent. So it can look like either. And the same for him, as I said before. His mother could have been a single mom, or his mother could have been the sole provider. Just because his dad was there doesn't mean that he was there in a financial capacity. So we mimic a lot of times what we see. And before we start talking about, well, why wasn't his dad there, or whatever the case may be, or why wasn't he working if he was there, there's plenty of reasons why individuals don't work. And in all honesty, he could have a diagnosis. He could be clinically depressed and not know it. He could have social anxiety and not know it. He could have ADHD and not know it. He could have a lot of things and not know it. He could have adjustment disorder, where whenever there is a abrupt change, there is a delay in one's ability to cope, which might lead to anxiety, depression, or both. It's combination. So there's a lot of things that could be going on from a mental health perspective. However, his father could have been crippled. We don't know what that situation was or why that person wasn't working, or even if that person was or wasn't working. We don't know because we can only speculate what type of family system would produce this type of behavior. Now, I have also talked to people who had both their mother and their father present. Both mother and father worked, and they did a great job taking care of the person, right? However, they were so used to being taken care of that they resented having to go out and work. They had a very external locus of control. And what that means is things are going to happen. Whether I do something or whether I don't do something, there is a whole destiny out there where things are just going to happen the way they're supposed to happen. And I really don't have any influence on that. So when you grow up in a home and you have great parents that are providing for you, there is a part of you that doesn't realize that there's something at some point that you'll have to contribute. And so if you take that external locus of control and you put it on an adult male, the only way for it to continue to manifest is if they can find individuals that will support this thought process. And that is what he has found in you. So again, I want to say, yes, this is a cycle. I am sorry to hear that even chronic illness and 10 surgeries, that either you weren't able to relinquish this role to your husband or your husband was not willing or able to take it on. However, you can, as I said before, set a boundary. You don't have to keep going around and around in this cycle. You don't. It ends when you say it does. I hope that that was helpful for you. And if you want to be a part of this amazing segment, Relationship RX, don't forget to DM me via Facebook at Supportive Advice Ohio. You can also hit me up on Instagram at Aqueelah Wheatley LMFT. And you can also hit me up on the website at supportiveadvice.com/damage control. And again, that is supportiveadvice.com/damage control. Not only can you submit questions for Relationship RX, you can also submit songs to put on a chopping block for lyrical detachment. And last but not least, you can catch up on any episodes that you missed. So however you decide to do it, just do it, right? And now it is time for us to roll into our first break. You stick and stay. Don't go away because there's going to be more Relationship RX on damage control coming up next. And remember, if you got to lead a car, it's okay, right? We all got to lead a car sometimes. There is an app for that. So make sure that you download the WOVU app and be sure to bookmark supportiveadvice.com/damage control. We'll be right back.
Hi, fam. Keep it tuned to Damage Control on 95.9 WOVU Cleveland.
June is National Black Family Cancer Awareness Month. Did you know that black women are 41% more likely to die from breast cancer than white women? This statistic is even more striking because fewer black women are diagnosed with breast cancer than white women. Black men are at double the risk of their white counterparts for multiple myeloma cancer, but also develop it about 5 to 10 years earlier. The Cleveland Office of Minority Health is your education resource partner. Learn more about the types of cancer affecting the black community. Visit us at clevelandhealth.org, funded by the Ohio Commission on Minority Health.
Cleveland, visit supportiveadvice.com/damage control for recaps and sneak peeks of new episodes.
Hey, now I know you weren't about to touch that dial. Stay tuned to more Damage Control on 95.9 WOVU Cleveland.
Shaker Square will soon undergo changes for a better future, but your input is needed. The Shaker Square Vision Plan will be a 12-month process that will build on insights from the 2019 planning study, focusing on concepts that already resonate with the community. The new study will investigate marketplace strategies and public realm designs that support surrounding businesses and position Shaker Square as a regional destination and local hub. You can get involved. Take the survey online at this website, shakersquare.com/vision-plan. That again is shakersquare.com/vision-plan, where you can find information on meetings and events. Get involved in the Shaker Square Vision Plan, a 12-month study that needs your input for a better future. This message is brought to you by Cleveland Neighborhood Progress and WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Hey, Cleveland, you want to hear your questions live on air? Call us at 1-855-959-WOVU for your chance to be heard live.
Stop the track, let me say facts. I told you give me a minute and I'll be right back. 50 million around the world and they said that I couldn't get it. I done got so sick and filthy with binges I can't spin. How you gonna be talking whack like I just got a pity? Been the number one diva in this game for a minute. I know you're at the play for the one that they call a queen. Every radio around the world know me cause that's where I be.
And we're back. Thank you so much for being with us today here at Damage Control. Make sure that you are keeping it locked here to 95.9 FM WOVU. So we have more Relationship RX coming up. Now, this question is actually a little bit touchy, just a little bit. So it's sensitive. So just bear with me here. It says, I've been with my current boyfriend for about 8 months. They've been amazing. We've been through so much together already due to outside situations. We've been living together for about 6 months, and I'm so happy. I love him so very much, and I'm happy with our relationship in every aspect except for our physical, intimate relationship. It's pretty much non-existent at this point. Personally, I have a very high drive, and he really doesn't. I try bringing new things and new interests to him. However, he's not really receptive. What should I do? Okay, so I hear that you have brought things to him to challenge his interest, right? To ignite something in him that you're saying typically isn't naturally present. However, I'm curious about whether or not you've actually had a conversation with him outside of trying to fix the problem. Because sometimes when we see that there's something going on that we don't like or that we find to be problematic, we want to fix it with or without our partner's input. Oh, well, let me just do this. Let me just bring this. Let me just wear this. And even though it is with great intent, sometimes the conversation is needed. Sometimes we need to figure out why this individual is not interested in intimate relationships. Could he have a lower drive? Absolutely. But there could also be trauma in that area. The way that you describe the relationship is that you all went through a lot together in 8 months. And for 6 of those 8 months, you all were already living together. So I'm not sure if the trauma was financial or what the case was, right? However, there may be trauma as it relates to intimacy that we're unaware of. So sitting down and having the conversation would be really important. I would say to use a communication skill called soft startups. You may have also heard the term gentle startups. Same diff, right? Essentially, what this does is it allows for a calm environment so that the person that you're talking to doesn't feel threatened. Therefore, they are more open-minded to what you are saying and also problem solving together, right? When someone feels like they're being attacked, essentially, they will defend. They will not be open-minded. They will be very guarded, which you will be able to tell in their tone, as well as their facial expression and their nonverbal communication. So if you're talking to someone and you see that they have crossed their arms or disengage in eye contact, these things allow us to pinpoint when someone has disengaged from the conversation. Now, we might not necessarily know exactly why they disengage. Typically, it is because either someone is not feeling heard, understood, or someone is feeling attacked. So, communication skills like soft startup, gentle startup, they allow the use of I statements. And this is when you say, I feel when, or I need when. And it's really important to follow that language as closely as possible. This allows us to avoid blaming the other person for our emotions, even though at times we may feel that they are the reason why we're feeling what we're feeling. It doesn't highlight a cognitive behavioral therapy perspective when we blame others for how we feel. Because CBT believes that first you have the thought process, there is a lens, there are things that you think, there's biases that you have, there are so many different concepts that have grown as you have grown within you. And they determine how you perceive information. So all the information that we're getting, when I say that is our truth, that's exactly what I mean. Because based on our lens and our understanding of things, we will interpret it differently person to person. And based how we interpret it is how we are going to connect our emotions to it. If we see something negatively, because in our life it has always represented something negative, the emotion that we attach to that is going to be different than if we maybe had a reframe that we were going from, or we were using cognitive techniques like Socratic questioning. And that exercise is really awesome because it breaks down the thought process. It asks you questions that you typically don't ask yourself. It has you perspective take. So if we're using an exercise like that, we might start off with one emotion and end with a different or alternative emotion. However, the point is that our emotions have a lot to do with our experiences and are personal to us, which means they're not someone else's fault. Now, they may have done something, and because of what was done, you notice that you feel X, Y, and Z away. However, they could do the same thing to someone else and that person not feel exactly how you felt. Now, it doesn't mean that that thing that they did was right or wrong, right? I'm not talking in a dichotomous or binary point of view, but I am talking in the way that differentiates between emotion and logic. With that being said, we don't want to blame others for our emotions. And so we stay true to the I statement, and that helps us to navigate the conversation a little easier for ourselves and our partner. Another thing is to describe the problem. It says problem here. I would say circumstance clearly. And the reason why I changed the verbiage there is because when we come in with a problem solving mentality, or we're already saying that there is an issue, we are not really open to the fact that it could be our interpretation or that it may not be what we think it is. The word problem also has a very negative connotation, which means that anytime someone hears something like what a problem is, you've lost them. It's over. You can just pack it on up, stop talking, just roll on out, because they're not listening anymore, because essentially all they heard is I'm the problem and we're done talking. So I like to use phrases such as circumstance, because this is everyday life, everyday life. And so you take this circumstance and you describe it to them from your perspective very clearly and succinctly. Sometimes it is easy to start having a conversation and become emotional. And so then all of a sudden we are talking about something that happened several months ago, something that might not even be related, a past relationship, as to why you think you might be triggered by this. A lot of different things we'll start to do. Focus in on this circumstance at hand. I want to be intimate with you. This is not happening as often as I would like it to. What can we do to engage differently? You say we, not what can you do? Because you guys are a team. You're a couple. And there's so many things, again, as I said before, that could be going on. I'm curious as to whether or not he has gone to the doctor and had labs drawn, because sometimes Lyme disease can affect someone's drive as well. And it's something that we typically don't check for all the time. So going to the doctor, seeing and eliminating anything that might be physical in nature, and then talking about what you need as well as what they need so that we can come to a compromise. It's typically the best way to handle these types of conversations. However, we also have to understand that even when we do all the right things and we talk to someone the way that we would want to be talked to, we use the gentle startups and all the things, it may not always end with us getting what we want, but it may end with the understanding that this relationship is not going to be able to fulfill our needs. With that being said, I hope that this was helpful. And as always, if you want to be a part of Relationship RX, definitely hit me up on the website at www.supportiveadvice.com/damage control. You can also DM me on Facebook at facebook.com/supportiveadviceohio. And last but not least, you can hit me on the gram at www.instagram at Aqueelah Wheatley LMFT. So, of course, it's time for another break, but you stick and stay. Don't go away. There is more damage control coming up next.
Quite stylish.
What? Why do I listen to Damage Control? Because it's free therapy. Check out the hilariously funny host Mondays at 2 on 959 FM WOVU Cleveland.
Hey Cleveland, visit supportiveadvice.com/damage control for recaps and sneak peeks of new episodes.
Hey, it's Dr. J.
And Casey from HHW Ohio.
Wise Pathways is back. Our next cohort starts June 25th, 2024.
Wise Pathways is a free career exploration and professional development course for women considering careers in mostly male fields such as construction and the building trades.
To learn more about Wise Pathways, visit one of our information sessions all around Cleveland. We will be at the Cleveland Public Library, Huff and Woodland branches, and the Olivet Community Development.
To find out more, visit hhwohio.org or call us at 216-471-8228, extension 304.
And remember, to make a life
and not just a living.
Call us at 1-855-959-WOVU for your chance to be heard live.
Keep trying. Keep striving. Keep moving forward to better skills, a better job, and a better life. Try C, where futures begin.
Better your skills at Cuyahoga Community College, bringing you this message along with WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Hey, now I know you weren't about to touch that dial. Stay tuned to more Damage Control on 95.9 WOVU Cleveland.
Stop the track, let me say facts. I told you give me a minute and I'll be right back. 50 million around the world and they said that I couldn't get it. I done got so sick and filthy with binges I can't spin. How you gon' be talking act like I just got a minute? Been the number one diva in this game for a minute. I know you read the paper, the one that they call a queen. Every radio around the world know me 'cause that's where I be.
And we're back. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. And we are back with more damage control. So this next segment is Listener's Spotlight. And someone might be wondering, what is this listener spotlight that you speak of? Well, it is the opportunity for me to hear you. But for us to do that, you will need to call in. And that number is 1-855-959-WOVU. If you're thinking to yourself, man, that sounds familiar. Well, of course it does, because it's the station numbers. 959-WOVU 9688. So give us a call anytime. We would love to hear from you. So with that being said, we are going to put our attention on individuals that have already tested this process and have called in and have questions. So this caller asks,
after a breakup, sometimes us women look for another man to comfort them, but then turn around and he be just like the person we broke up with.
a lot of times when we are fresh out of a breakup, we look for something to soothe us, something to ease the pain, something to distract us from everything that we're thinking about, everything that we're feeling, etc., right? However, during this time, we're also vulnerable. So we're not looking from a self-confident and empowered perspective. All depending on the circumstances, we may be coming from a place of lower self-worth or lower self-confidence. We are also not in a reflective place, possibly, because in a reflective place, we might start to look at patterns to see what part we're actually playing in these relationships. If someone tells you, I've been in 7 relationships and every single guy is just alike and they all end the same way, that's a person that has not yet taken accountability for either their attachment style, the healing that they need to do, or a personality flaw that they may have, right? There's a lot of things that go into repeat patterns as it relates to relationships. But when we're going through a breakup or have just gone through a breakup, we need reassurance. Come on now. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. You need reassurance. You want someone to say, hey, you are all the things that this person didn't realize you were. And although those statements can be true, we are placing them at higher value than actually getting to know the person that is saying them. And sometimes the person who is saying them puts more value on the role that they're playing than actually getting to know you. Imagine someone is brokenhearted. I can come in, swoop in, and be a superhero, a savior. That makes people feel good. But if I want to continue to feel good, then I have to continue that behavior. And if I'm consistently continuing that behavior, I'm not taking a step back to look at you or to evaluate you or to see if I even agree with some of your viewpoints because I feel good helping you feel better. Sometimes it's less about the person that you feel they are turning into and more about the person that you have still remained, because you haven't taken any time to heal. You haven't taken any time to do any self-evaluation. You haven't taken any time to rebuild those areas where you were hurt or broken within the relationship. You haven't taken any time to be any different than you were before you got into the previous relationship, and the same person you were when you got into this one. You're not growing and you're not changing when you keep going from one scenario to another, back to back to back. That is avoidance 101, right? We don't want to deal with the pain of going through a breakup. We don't want to go through the pain of rebuilding or healing. We don't want to have to ask ourselves the hard questions and really evaluate what parts we played in the scenario. We don't want to do any of that. We just want someone to come to us and say, "Oh, I am so sorry for you," and allow us to be in the victim role until at some point they become the villain and realize we're not really as much of a victim as they thought you were. And then that leads to a lot of resentment because you are no longer experiencing them in the superhero or savior role, and they are no longer able to play that role because now they have been recast. And it almost feels like a bait and switch, not just for you, but for them too, believe it or not. Now, when I have a client that comes to me and says that they have just gone through a breakup or they're in the process of going through a breakup, what I typically do is I assign a packet by Christina Bell, and it's called the Breakup Recovery Kit. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. It's pretty intensive. It's not a short packet by any means. It has a lot of pages. And so, obviously, I break it down, and I only assign a page or maybe 2 pages at a time. And then we go over it. We review. We see where they're at with it. It talks about the things that we experience from a mental perspective, emotional perspective, physical perspective, and it helps to normalize what the client is feeling. It also is helpful because it provides an active comparison between the things that we go through as it relates to a breakup and the stages of grief. We still have those same emotions come up even when it's not a person that has passed on. We experience grief whenever there's a loss, and that can be a loss of a pet, it can be a loss of a job, it could be a loss of a relationship. Whatever it is that's affecting you, those emotions still come up. That anger comes up, bargaining comes up, frustration comes up, shock comes up, thinking that we're fine with it. And we get into this place where we think we've accepted it, and then we wonder why we're angry again, right? All of those things are valid and they come up. And so in tandem with the breakup recovery packet, I also typically assign 5 stages of grief where they kind of look it over to see exactly where they are, what they're experiencing, and we track the stages of grief alongside the breakup recovery kit. And in this, we are looking at us. We are putting up boundaries that are going to help us get through the scenario in the best way possible. Another thing that I like about the breakup recovery kit is that it has FAQs, right? And if anybody's wondering what an FAQ is, it's just a frequently asked question. And so one of the frequently asked questions is, when should I start dating again? Now, this doesn't mean that you can't date if you want to date, right? However, it does mean that there are suggested time periods to restrain from dating so that you actually have time to deal with what's going on. And that time period is about 6 months, according to the kit. And so it also goes through, what if I run into my partner? What if I run into his family? Should I have contact with my partner? All the things. Now, again, this isn't a Bible, it's not gold standard, but for those of us that are going through a breakup and are in some ways lost, it gives us boundaries so that we can actually focus in on self-discipline while we are healing. So, in summary, dating someone before you are healed is not helpful for you because it doesn't allow you to actually address the emotions that you're dealing with. It is only good for avoiding the emotions that you're dealing with. And the person that has come to save you can only remain in a savior role as long as you stay a victim. With that being said, I hope that this was helpful for you. I really appreciate you calling in and giving us this question. If anybody else wants to be a part of Listener Spotlight, give me a call at 1-855-959-WOVU. Again, that is 1-855-959-WOVU, which is 9688. And you too can be a part of this amazing segment. I and everyone else can listen to your question during the show, and then you'll get to hear what I have to say from a therapeutic perspective, which might be helpful for you. So definitely go to the website to submit questions to Relationship RX at www.supportiveadvice.com/damage control and pick up that phone. Give us a call at 1-855-959-WOVU 9688. We'll be back with more damage control, specifically lyrical detachment, when we come back.
Stay tuned to Damage Control on 95.9 WOVU.
Quite stylish.
Since day one of your child's life, you've been all hands in. At Cleveland Clinic Children's, we make our patients a very similar promise: to be the hands you can trust, no matter what specialty care is needed. As Northeast Ohio's nationally ranked and locally trusted children's hospital, when their health needs a helping hand, put their care in hands you trust. Learn more at clevelandclinicchildrens.org/hands.
This message has been brought to you by Cleveland Clinic Children's and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our voices united, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
This is Sapphire on WOVU 95.9 FM. KeyBank's mission is helping our clients and communities thrive. It begins with making the dream of homeownership a reality. KeyBank is committed to reducing the barriers historically faced by underserved communities by offering responsible lending products and services, educational support, and direct community investment. KeyBank believes in the strength of diversity and that thriving communities are built one open door at a time. Mortgage and home lending products offered by KeyBank are not FDIC insured or guaranteed. Equal housing lender. NMLS number 399797.
This message is brought to you by KeyBank and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our voices united, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
Hey Cleveland, visit supportiveadvice.com/damage control for recaps and sneak peeks of new episodes.
Call us at 1-855-959-WOVU for your chance to be heard live.
Keep trying, keep striving, keep moving forward to better skills, a better job, and a better life. Try Seed, where futures begin.
Better your skills at Cuyahoga Community College, bringing you this message along with WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Stay tuned to Damage Control on 95.9 WOVU.
Shaker Square will soon undergo changes for a better future, but your input is needed. The Shaker Square Vision Plan will be a 12-month process that will build on insights from the 2019 planning study, focusing on concepts that already resonate with the community. The new study will investigate marketplace strategies and public realm designs that support surrounding businesses and position Shaker Square as a regional destination and local hub. You can get involved. Take the survey online at this website, shakersquare.com/vision-plan. That again is shakersquare.com/vision-plan, where you can find information on meetings and events. Get involved in the Shaker Square Vision Plan, a 12-month study that needs your input for a better future. This message is brought to you by Cleveland Neighborhood Progress and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
All right, y'all. Can y'all guess this week's lyrical detachment song? Oh, you think you got it? We'll find out if you're right when we get back.
Stop the track, let me stay facts. I told you give me a minute and I'll be right back. 50 million around the world and they said that I couldn't get it. I done got so sick and filthy with binges I can't spin. How you gonna be talking? Act like I just got a minute. Been the number one diva in this game for a minute. I know you read the paper, the one that they call a queen. Every radio around the world know me 'cause that's where I be.
And we're back. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. And it is time for lyrical detachment. And for those of you lovely people that don't yet know what lyrical detachment is, it is when I take a song, often a song that's been submitted via the website, www.supportiveadvice.com/damage control, and I put it on the chopping block. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to mean that there's something wrong with the song, but what I do is I dissect it and I talk about it from a therapeutic perspective. I help us see how much the music we listen to actually contributes to the patterns in our lives and why. With that being said, this is one of my favorite songs from just a little way back. And it is KP and Enville, Swing My Way.
Friday night, looking for a man that'll do me right. First move that I made was on the dance floor, broke it down one time, then I went for more. Physical action was happening now. Saw this young player dip through the crowd. Looked over to my left and told my girl, hey, if I see him again, I'ma have to say, swing my way. Sure look good to me. Now would you please swing my way? Shorty, swing my way. Swing it over here, shorty. Shorty, swing my way. This man looking all around, doing all I can. Damn, he sure look. By the end of the night, he's gonna be. I thought to myself, he couldn't have gone far. Then I saw him again, standing by the bar. So far, everything is going my way. Now that I found him, I'ma have to say, shorty, swing my way. Sure look good to me. Now would you please swing my way? Shorty, swing my way. Gotta get up the nerve to get my swerve on. Gotta do it fast or he'll be gone. Cause of the beat, just my luck. That somebody else will scoop him up. Can't have that, wanna be that girl that found herself a perfect match. Didn't wanna come off as being too fly. Got contact eye to eye. Then I walked over to him slowly. Said, I know you don't know me, but this might be my only shot at a tenderoni. He told me that we can do this, cause a girl like you, I can't resist. Got straight to the point, no time to play. Didn't need no game, just had to say, shorty, swing my way. Sure look good to me. Now would you please swing my way? Shorty, swing my way. Swing it over here, shorty. Shorty, swing my way. Sure
AP in Enville, Shorty Swing My Way. I absolutely love this song and have always loved this song. I mean, did you guys hear the lyrics? I mean, she sounds so slick. Let me play it back for y'all.
And I walked over to him slowly, said, I know you don't know me, but this might be my only shot at a tenderoni.
How empowering is that? This song is so empowering to women to be able to pursue what they want in a partner, what they want in a spouse, what they want in a date, right? We don't have to wait for a male to come to us before we can express our interest. This song teaches about self-confidence. It teaches about self-value. It teaches about self-worth. Some might be wondering, well, how, right? If you're not confident and you don't have high value in yourself or high self-worth, you're not going to be the person that walks over to anybody slowly and says anything about anything about anything. Why? Because it wouldn't feel worth the risk. The thought process would be very self-defeating. You would probably be doing a lot of catastrophizing of worst case scenario if you did go over there and were rejected, because you don't see you as valuable. You aren't confident in what you bring to the table. And those two things need to be in place and firmly solidify in our mind before we can present them to someone else. With that being said, I thank you so much again for joining me here on Damage Control. I appreciate you dropping through another Monday. I look so much forward to talking to you all again next week. And for all you dads out there, happy belated Father's Day. I hope that all of you were celebrated and understand how much we appreciate you. Again, thank you so much for dropping in. And remember, we are here, same time, same place, every Monday. Damage Control on 95.9 FM WOVU at 2 o'clock. And if you miss us, which I don't recommend, you can always catch the replay on the website www.supportiveadvice.com/damage control. Be sure to submit a question or two and even a song to put on the chopping block. And if you want to be a part of Listener Spotlight, you know what to do. Give us a call, 1-855-959 WOVU 9688. I appreciate you all so much, and I'm out.
Cleveland, visit supportiveadvice.com/damage control for recaps and sneak peeks of new episodes.
What? Why do I listen to Damage Control? Because it's free therapy. Check out the hilariously funny host Mondays at 2 on 959 FM WOVU Cleveland.
Hey, Cleveland, you want to hear your questions live on air? Call us at 1-855-959-WOVU for your chance to be heard live.
Stop the track, let me say facts. I told you give me a minute and I'll be right back. 50 million around the world and they said that I couldn't get it. I done got so sick and filthy with binges I